When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب وله وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد. That know this worldly life is no more than play, amusement, luxury, mutual boasting, competition in wealth and children. You'll notice something very interesting about the ordering of how Allah has listed these things. If you think about it, when someone is first born, a baby, in its first years, what is the only thing that it wants to do? Play, right? It just wants to run around and play games and jump on top of you and be carried around and thrown about. That's all the baby cares about. Play, 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 play. But then when the baby grows up a little bit more, it becomes about amusement. They reach their teenage years and it's about amusement. They want to go out with their friends to the cinema. They want to go shopping. They want to do all of these things and restaurants and whatnot. It becomes about amusement. They just want to go out and have fun. And when that teenager grows a little bit more, it becomes about luxury. Okay, I need to make some money now. I need to have the nicest clothes, the top fashion, the best, PlayStation out there. It becomes about having the best things. Dunya. And when that person grows a little bit more and becomes an adult and they've tasted a bit of that luxury, you could say, it becomes about boasting. Look at my house. Look at my car. Look at this. Look at that. They start showing off their items that they've managed to achieve in this dunya. And when that person grows even more and they get married and they start growing in their wealth, they become rich, they become having lots of children. There's nothing more to this life other than just increasing in wealth and increasing in children, right? And then their life ends. So here, it's almost like Allah has mentioned the circle of life where you start off and you play, then you just want to have fun, then you just want to have luxury, then you just want to boast about your luxury, and then you want to have competition in your wealth and children because the luxury is all done now, you're sick of it now, khalas, and then you die. The circle of life has been played out to you in just a few words by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here. And then He gives you an example. He says, كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتُهُ. This is like rain that comes down and causes plants to grow to the delight of the planters. Now, if you really think about what goes in to the planter's work, you'll realize something very interesting. When a planter plants his seed, right? He's going to have to wake up every single day and water that seed every single day and make sure the soil is fresh, that there's no kind of bacteria or anything coming close to it so it doesn't destroy the seed. Every single day, this planter has to put in the effort to make sure the seed has the perfect environment for it to grow. But at any point, something can happen that can destroy the seed. Maybe an animal will come and eat the seed. Or maybe the soil just suddenly becomes bad. Or maybe there's no rain that comes down that causes the seed to grow. Maybe watering it, he waters it too much. So every day, this planter is putting in effort to make the seed grow. But then when it eventually sprouts and it grows, he's delighted, as Allah mentions in the Quran. He's so happy. He's like, finally, all my effort has come to fruition. I can see that my seed has finally sprouted and it's growing now. And so every day he wakes up and he feeds it and he grows it and he nurtures this plant. But at some point, Allah then says it starts to become yellow. Because this planter, when he's waking up every day looking after this plant, he gets bored of this plant. And so he starts to neglect it. One day he doesn't feed it, the next day he feeds it. Then a week passes and he doesn't feed it. And it starts to go weak and yellow and old until he completely forgets about this plant that he once was so excited about, and then it withers away. It becomes dust, chaff, it's destroyed. What does this teach you? If you think about anything in life, anything, your university certificate, your incredibly successful business pulling in millions, your quest in finding a spouse, anything in life, any blessing, work has to go into it every single day for you to achieve it. Just like this planter plants a seed and has to make sure all the conditions are perfect. Some seeds will sprout, some seeds will not. You start a business, you might fail, but you might be successful. You look for a spouse, you might fail, you might be successful. Some seeds will sprout, some seeds won't. But when the seed sprouts, you are so happy. You've graduated, alhamdulillah, all that effort has now come to fruition. You've got this successful business, alhamdulillah, now I have financial freedom. You've got that spouse, alhamdulillah, I can now build a companionship with someone else. I can now fulfill my desires. But then every day you wake up and you enjoy it and you feed this plant and you give it so much importance and care. But eventually there comes a point where that excitement you had in the beginning when you achieved these things starts to go yellow. You stop kind of giving it this happiness and this importance that you once gave it. Suddenly having a spouse is no longer that exciting. Suddenly having the university certificate, you don't even think about it. Suddenly this business pulling in millions, you realize these millions don't have an effect on your happiness. Wallahi, I saw Andrew Tate say in a video that came up on my feed that he's bored, doesn't know what to do in life. And he can do anything, he can buy anything, right? It goes yellow. Everything in this life goes yellow. And eventually it withers away and gets destroyed. You see how powerful this analogy is just through reflection. So you think, okay, what are my priorities in life? I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to buy a house. I want a specific car. I want a business that's successful. I want a university certificate. Whatever it is in your life, when you get it after all this hard work, you will be so happy. But there will definitely come a point where it becomes something that you don't even care about. It'll go yellow and it will wither away. This is the example of this life. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He continues the verse and He says, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ شَدِيدٌ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانٌ. In the hereafter, now Allah's shifted from this life to the hereafter. And He said there's either going to be severe punishment or forgiveness from Allah. Meaning Allah's given you the example of this life. This is what life is. You want to chase it? Fair enough. You don't want to chase it? Fair enough. But know that at the end of the day, there's only one of two outcomes. Either you chase this dunya and you give your life to it and you don't care about the hereafter and you have punishment, or you realize and you wake up and you do work for your hereafter and then you get forgiveness and pleasure of Allah for eternity. But then Allah ends the verse by saying, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. What is this worldly life except the enjoyment of delusion? Meaning, despite Allah giving you the perfect example to make you understand everything you need to know about this life, people will still be deluded and they'll still make the wrong decisions. Subhanallah. You see how powerful that reflection is? So then as a result of your tadabbur, you're like, okay, I give these things importance in life, but if I achieve them, they're going to go yellow. So why don't I use these things instead for my akhirah instead of chasing them for the dunya? And it starts to affect your actions and your mannerisms and the way you see life. And you feel connected to Allah. You see life differently to how other people see life. And so you see spiritual benefits and rational benefits, like we said earlier on in the class. And that's an example of tadabbur.